Awesome. So I'm very excited to introduce you guys to Brittany. She is a partner at Lattice Ventures. She's an investor and an entrepreneur. Brittany, I've already forgotten the name of the talk because I'm totally disorganized. Decoding Community. So I'm pretty excited about community. I'm excited to hear what Brittany has to say about community. And then just as a reminder, after Brittany's talk, we're going to have our first official break. You all set?
All right.
Cool. Please join me in welcoming Brittany.
Great. Thank you. All right. Well, I know I'm between talks and a break, so hopefully this can be a little fun. I actually wanted to start my talk talking about Drake. So when I got into Berlin, I got in the taxi, and the taxi driver was trying to talk to me, kind of asking me questions, where I'm from, what I'm up to. And between like my terrible German and his not so good English, like we really didn't have a lot to talk about. So he put on like a local station, and they're playing like German house music, and we're kind of dancing along in the cab. But then this Drake song came on. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called "In My Feelings." Like most people, I think anywhere in the world you go and you start saying "Kiki," and in your head. I love it, yeah. I was gonna actually see if everyone would get involved, but making sure people wake. So let's try that again. Kiki. Awesome. So of course the driver hears the song come on and immediately gets so excited. He's turning around, not looking at the road, and starts dancing. He starts putting the heart out. He really wanted to connect over the song. And of course, I've heard it a million times. I've seen tons of videos about it, so it made the connection. So this whole thing started because a friend of Drake's made a video of him doing a silly dance to this song. And that really caught on in social media. And other people actually started contributing too. They didn't make any money on this. There wasn't sort of a contest. People just went out of their way to contribute to something that they believed in. It got so out of hand that Will Smith even got a drone to film him doing this dance on a rooftop. Like, this was more than just a song. This became a movement. So this is great for Drake, but like, what does this have to do with you and building a blockchain? Well, the path that they took is the same path you should take when thinking about building community. So the first step is building awareness. Like, have you heard of Drake before the song? Maybe, maybe not, but just hearing that name. The next was doing some investigation. Maybe you've heard the song, maybe you saw a video. And then the third step is really where community comes in, and that is in contributing, going out of your way to film a video to do this. Now, this is the same path that you guys can take, because community is all about connection and contribution. So I know this because I was an investor in a number of companies that have had millions of contributors and has added billions of dollars of value because of that. So how many of you here have contributed to one of these platforms in some way? Whether it's a tweet, planning a meetup, maybe you've backed a Kickstarter, maybe you've used Stack Overflow, maybe you've answered some questions there. These platforms do not exist without contributors. That is the key thing that keeps them going. Their code, you could replicate it. If it were a blockchain, you could fork it. But the value really relies on the fact that contributors keep showing up to these networks. Contributors are very powerful. And we know this in blockchain. There's hundreds of projects that are looking for contributors. And I know many of you are working on either dApps or protocols or services that need contributors. I knew this is a controversial slide, but they just look pretty. So blockchain needs contributors, and we know this, and it's not just in one way. It's actually a lot of ways. We need people who can be peers. We need people who can write code. We need feedback. We need content, and we need compute. All of these things are essential. So here, I'm going to talk about where to start in building your community to get these things. So the first step is a clear message. Now, I know that there's a lot of fancy ways to talk about your technology, but if it's not clear from an average user, you're probably not going to get very far. So I learned this lesson when I was at Union Square Ventures. I was with the team for just over 3 years, and we did a lot of stuff. We invested in companies. We have prolific bloggers like Fred Wilson. We did a lot in the community itself. But what we learned is that we really needed to simplify what we were saying in the market. And to do that, we turned our entire investment thesis into a single tweet. And I challenge anyone building a project in here to be able to communicate your message in 140 characters or less. Not the 240 that they now allow, but the 140 or less. Because this message is a thing that we repeated in every entrepreneur meeting. It's what we said to new hires. It's what we said to people who were curious about what we did. It made it really easy. So if you're attracting community members and you can't explain your project in one sentence, you need to start here. And you can start doing that by distributing on some of these channels that you see here. That's Telegram, Medium, YouTube, Discord, Twitter. So this is where a lot of projects point to when they say they have a community. They say, oh, look how many followers I have, or look how many Telegram users. This is only the top of the funnel. This does not define what your community is. Those are a little bit vanity metrics that just tell you like where you're starting, but there's a bunch more in the process that still needs to happen. So the next step is about a path forward. So the example of a path forward is actually about a few friends of mine. We were sitting down to hack on a blockchain project to really test things out. And we started with the Steam network. Has anyone contributed to Steam here? Have people heard of Steam? Okay. Yeah, so Steam's been around for a number of years, so we thought we'd start there. So we had an engineer, we had a data scientist, like I've been reading lots of white papers. So together we spent about 6 hours just reading everything that was available, from the GitHub to documentation to articles, just to understand what we were supposed to do. And all of those led us to the same pathway, which was we needed to sign up for an account. So in Steam, when you want to sign up for an account, you can actually sign up for free, but it takes 2 weeks to get down that path. So they'll get back to you when it's ready. The other alternative is that you can actually use Ethereum, you can buy Steam, and then you can use that Steam to get into the network immediately. So we went through that very painful process, mainly because we had already spent 6 hours learning about the project. So we're like, all right, let's get to this, let's keep going. So building that kind of flow for your team is important. What do you want people to do after they read a white paper? Do you want them to go somewhere? Do you want them to sign up? Should they get emails from you? Is there more that they can do besides just like joining a Telegram channel? And so some of the content that you usually see in a path forward, this is learning, getting deeper. Maybe it's a white paper, a blue paper, a yellow paper, a gray paper, a red paper, whatever color paper you want to have. But making sure that you can maybe track some of these people is a key thing that a lot of people miss. So you may have hundreds of people coming and reading your white paper, but you may never know who they are, where they came from, what they're looking for. So go beyond just Google Analytics to tell you how many people are coming. Maybe you could have them sign up for a newsletter or a drip campaign to let them know about more once things are launching. So the third one I think is the most important, so I have a lot of examples, but it's about open dialogue. So for this example, I actually need your participation in this. It'll take 30 seconds or less, and it comes in 2 parts. So the first part is I need you to turn to one of your neighbors and just tell them your name. Introduce yourself, tell them your name. That's it. All right. Okay. Awesome. All right, now we have the second part. Some of you may be jumping ahead. All right. Love this. Okay, so the next step is we're going to ask a question. And now this one, you have to be brief. So I want you, in 5 words or less, to tell the person next to you why you came to ETH Berlin. Is it to learn? Is it to meet people? Is it to make money? Okay, awesome job. So you guys are all stars at this, and you're actually exemplifying the exact magic of community. So the exact magic of community is actually dialogue. It's not just sending out information into the world, it's actually having that back and forth. So like, this is what dialogue looks like, back and forth. It's talking to the people, it's connecting with the people around you. It usually has a place, like here it was taking place in a physical space. It's usually between two parties at least, and maybe more people. But this is like the key part of community. And I think a lot of people miss that. So this is an example of a Telegram group that I'm in that has thousands of people. They have all the vanity metrics, but there is no dialogue. Literally, it's just hundreds of people joining, and then the occasional hi, 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 hi. This is not a community. This is not very engaging. The good news is that someone noticed this, and they decided to do something about it. They actually started telling dad jokes as a means to get people to react. And of course, with everything blockchain, there has to be Drake memes in there. But this is actually successful community because people are actually engaging. Like, there's a reason that they came back and that they open this app and they type something in. That is a really high friction point. Like, think of the number of places you go on the web in a day and you do nothing but just sit there and look at the screen. You don't upvote, you don't like, you don't comment, you just sit there. So getting people actually to cross that chasm is great, even if it is with silly things like dad jokes. So there are other places besides just chat that you can have conversations. I think GitHub provides a really great place for conversations. So, sorry, this quality is so bad. But basically, commits are like conversations, right? Someone says something, someone submits something back. You can like it, you can comment on it. GitHub is a great place, especially if you're technical. Now, GitHub is also a place that you can host other types of dialogue. So the Ethereum core devs have a call on a regular basis, and they document everything in GitHub, which is great. So if you want to actually get on the phone and ask a question using your voice, you can do that using GitHub. And so maybe this could apply to your project. Maybe you have update calls. Like I know LivePeer, which is live streaming this, they have a regular call every week so people can have those dialogues. Even a platform like Medium, which is longer form, is a place that people are having that dialogue. Some people, you know, with the early CryptoKitties days, there was controversy over who owned the kitty. And with that, there was actually blog posts going back and forth of, in defense of this, here's my response to that. So people are having those really long conversations in a digital platform too. So don't disregard Medium, even though it's a longer form dialogue. So this is the formula to get you from people just knowing what your project is called to what it does to actually contributing to your project. But there is one key thing that is really missing in this. But first, I will show you this. I just stuck this in. Decred. So Ethereum does a great job of engaging the community, but I just came across Decred's website. I'm not an investor. I just thought what they did was really helpful. So check out their website if you can. This shows the path. So this tour will help you get started. They tell you what Decred does. They ask you to join the community. They give you a very clear path of how to get there. And then they lead you right to their forum. So you can click through and get to a place where you can actually ask questions and learn more about Decred if you want. So if you're looking for like hints, I think they do a really good job. I've looked at lots of websites. Most companies will put up their Telegram link but won't tell you what you're supposed to do there. So the missing component of this equation is about the why. Why people come. Why you come to ETH Berlin. Why you buy into something. Now, a lot of crypto investors will tell you it's because of these three things. Oh, well, people want to contribute to a network because they want to make money, or like that's all they care about. But like, I don't really think that's true, and I haven't seen that in any of the other platforms I've worked with. So I think there's a lot of reasons why people are involved. But if you can understand why people are coming to your project, what thing they're serving, you're going to keep them for a lot longer. If they just come for money, they're going to go leave whenever there's a better place to make money. If they're coming because of the people, that's really strong. If they're coming because of the curiosity of what they can do, that's really great. Even Lane here has said publicly why he's involved in a community. So people are public about why. So if you're building a project, maybe you have 2 people who've downloaded it. That's fine. Ask them why. What did they come for? What are they looking for? For Lane, he said it's about ownership. It's about being part of something larger. That is a really great why. And that's a really great path to get through why. Why are you going through and setting up a really hard Ethereum wallet to do this? Why are you reading white papers that are really boring and poorly written? Why are you putting up with decentralized services that are not as good as centralized services? The why of something bigger is the only way that we're going to get through this, and the only way you're going to get people on your side. The good news is that usually this is a flywheel, though, once people get started. So you're not repeating the path every time. Once people kind of get in, they get sold in the network, they keep coming back. It's no different than if maybe you read about Ethereum, maybe you bought some Ethereum, maybe you decided to apply to come to ETH Berlin, maybe you're going to hack on something. You continue to show up, learn more about the product, and then go deeper and deeper and deeper. So overall, community is about contribution and connection. That involves people and content. We saw the flow. And I know that we have a lot of work to do in the blockchain space. We need all the contributors we can get. So anything you can do to help us realize the vision of a decentralized future is great. And I'm encouraged because I know some of these communities already exist. There's a lot of tribalism, whether you're a maximalist, an ETH head, a Ripple gang, or any other cool name you can think of. This is what the future looks like. So I appreciate your time. Thank you. Say hello at Twitter. I'm happy to keep the dialogue going.